everyone, welcome to an all new edition of Viral. I'm your host as always, Ken Dix here. Glad you can join us as we talk about who was Ahmaud Arbery and why he was shot for no apparent reason after minding his own business. We'll get to that here on Viral. First things first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Viral here on Connect. Thank you all once again, and don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing is caring. As we talk about who was Ahmaud Arbery. Ahmaud Arbery was an unarmed black man who was out for a job when he was chased down, shot, and killed by two white men, father and son duo of George and Travis McMichael. Well, now the Georgia Bureau of Investigators have made the arrest for Ahmaud Arbery after celebrities, people in the community, and activists all want a call for action for Arbery's murder. And this screams back to February. So, there was a lot of unanswered situations on that. And now justice has been served. Well, Ahmaud Arbery was said to celebrate his 26th birthday this week. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. But his legacy will live on through what he had accomplished and what he had done. But this thing what the father and son did was unacceptable, it was despicable. It was despicable by all means. Well, like I said, people took to social media to get the word out about this horrible act. Let's go back and watch how this cold case came into fruition with this.
Back here now to that other major story we are following tonight. Investigators looking closely at surveillance video appearing to show the final moments of Ahmaud Arbery just before he was shot and killed by a father and son who said they were trying to make a citizen's arrest. Here's ABC's Zachary Quiche.
Tonight, law enforcement is reviewing video appearing to show Ahmaud Arbery in the moments before he died. This surveillance footage obtained by ABC affiliate First Coast News. A man enters this house under construction in the mostly white South Georgia neighborhood of Satilla Shores. Arbery's lawyers say they believe it's Ahmaud. Video from inside the home obtained by local station WJXT shows the man in a white shirt and khaki shorts looking around. The first 911 call coming in around 1:08 p.m.
The guy in the house right now. The house under construction.
Arbery's lawyers say he did not take anything or cause any damage, adding Ahmaud's actions were in no way a felony under Georgia law. The homeowner telling the Washington Post, "I've never had anything stolen from my property or any kind of robbery." According to his lawyers, Arbery's inside for under 3 minutes. The video seems to be sped up and slowed down in some places. Here you can make out two men getting into a truck. They are presumed to be Gregory and Travis McMichael, now charged with Arbery's murder. By 1:15 p.m., a second 911 call.
There's a black male running down the street.
When detectives arrived at the scene at 1:45 p.m., Arbery was dead. The McMichaels told police they thought Arbery was this man, caught on these surveillance images from the construction site given to ABC News by a local lawyer. Since October, 3 other trespassing incidents were reported. The Arbery say that man is not their son. Tonight, the Georgia Attorney General asking the Justice Department to investigate how this case was handled from the start. According to Glenn County officials, on the day of the shooting, the DA's office advised police no arrests were necessary. A second DA then reviewing the evidence and video of the killing.
Within 24 hours of this homicide, he thought there was no probable cause for arrest.
Tom, both prosecutors later recused themselves from the case. Now, investigators say they're aware of this surveillance video and reviewed it before making any arrest, which happened 2 days after they took the case and 74 days after the shooting. Now, tonight we're told that neither of the suspects, the McMichaels, has hired counsel. Tom?
We turn now to breaking news in the fatal shooting of 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery, an unarmed black man who was out for a jog. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation says they've now arrested these two men, Gregory and Travis McMichael, seen here in a photo tweeted out by the NAACP. They are both charged with murder and aggravated assault. And also a letter that's raising eyebrows written by a prosecutor who is now off the case why he thought the killing was justified. ABC's Steve Osunsami brings us the latest.
After nearly 2.5 months since this violent death was recorded, the two men now accused in the killing have been arrested, and the investigation continues. State investigators are going over this cell phone video frame by frame, looking at the last moments of Ahmaud Arbery's life. The 25-year-old is seen jogging through a neighborhood near his home when he runs into this white pickup truck. The two men waiting for him with their guns told police that they believed he was the same person seen on security cameras breaking into homes and had chased him here.
There's a black male running down the street.
They claim that they were trying to make a citizen's arrest. You see and hear the violent end. Police say the gunmen are Gregory McMichael and his son Travis, seen here in a photo shared online by the NAACP. The father is a former police officer and a former investigator for a county prosecutor. Because of their apparent connections to the father and son, two prosecutors have recused themselves from the case. And in this newly uncovered letter, one of them, who has seen this same video, says he sees it differently, that Arbery initiated the fight, grabbed the shotgun, and under Georgia law, McMichael was allowed to use deadly force to protect himself. He blames the man who died, saying that his aggressive nature led him to attack an armed man. He also writes that it was perfectly legal to chase down Arbery in the first place because they thought he was a burglar. They carried their guns in the open and, quote, it appears their intent was to stop and hold this criminal suspect until law enforcement arrived. Attorneys for the family's victim strongly disagree.
The important reason why it could not be a citizen's arrest is that under that statute, a citizen would actually have to observe a crime taking place. Ahmaud Arbery has only observed running down the road.
Outrage continues across the country and online with the hashtag Justice for Ahmaud Arbery. We also heard from 2020 presidential candidate Joe Biden today.
Many of us have seen that harrowing footage of Ahmaud Arbery and out on a jog on a beautiful day in February in Florida and in Georgia, shot down in cold blood, a sense lynched before our very eyes, 2020 style. And his family and the country deserves justice, and they deserve it now.
And President Trump says he's expecting a full briefing on the case tonight.
My heart goes out to the parents and to the loved ones of the young gentleman. It's a very sad thing, but I will be given a full report this evening.
Haven't seen the video yet, to be clear.
No, I haven't.
Late this evening, what this family has been demanding. The father and the son were arrested. Originally, a grand jury was going to decide if there would be charges.
Steve, tell us more about the claim that the father and son were simply trying to defend themselves.
So they tell us that, they tell police that they were actually trying to stop this young man because they believe he was the person breaking into their properties, and that they say that when they encountered him, they were trying to make this citizen's arrest, and that he fought with them, and that at one point he was fighting with the son with the gun, and that's when they fired and killed him in the middle of this arrest, that he fought back.
But just to be clear, in order to make a citizen's arrest, you have to actually witness a crime.
That's right, Lindsay. The lawyers for the victims' families say that to arrest someone under a citizen's arrest, you have to have proof, probable cause that this person committed a crime. And they say that he had nothing to do with any crime, any break-in, and didn't even know any of these people when he was killed.
We're jumping right into the big story tonight. Calls for justice after an unarmed black man was shot and killed while jogging in Brunswick. Tonight, we're giving context behind the disturbing video that sparked public outrage. And we do want to warn you that the video we are going to show you, it is difficult to watch. First, here's what we know about the 25-year-old man who was shot to death. Ahmaud Arbery was jogging through the Satilla Shores community in Glenn County back in February. Now to the disturbing video. Here you can see Arbery running. Then two white men start to chase him. There appears to be some sort of struggle. 3 gunshots are heard. Arbery turns to run, then collapses. Police say Gregory McMichael and his son Travis thought Arbery was behind break-ins in the area. 11 Alive has not independently verified the video. Across the state and across the nation, many groups are demanding accountability and action.
No justice! No peace! Justice for Ahmaud!
Today, dozens protested around the state capitol building in Atlanta. The family's attorney calling the video a crime of murder. Arbery's mom says she just can't bring herself to watch it.
I don't think that I'll ever reach the mental capacity to ever watch the video. You know, I saw my son come in the world, and seeing him leave the world is not something that I want to see ever.
No arrests have been made in the case. Arbery's family says they believe it's because Greg McMichael used to work for the district attorney's office in Brunswick. Many believe this is a misstep of justice. One man who knows that all too well is Dr. Yusef Salam, one of the exonerated 5. He served nearly 7 years for a crime he did not commit. Natisha Lance spoke to Dr. Salam today. Joining us tonight from the GBI, Natisha Lance, which is the headquarters and ground zero for the Arbery investigation. Natisha.
That's right, Aisha. So GBI joined this investigation. As of today, they assigned 3 of their highest level agents to the case. Now, you mentioned Dr. Salam, who is a part of the exonerated 5. Now, he watched that video along with so many others and found it to be disturbing. Now, he says in order to get justice in this case, it will require continued pressure.
Here we are 31 years later, where Black folks are looked at as suspects. We're seen as guilty before we can even mount a defense.
It's been 31 years since Dr. Yusef Salam was wrongfully convicted as part of a group of Black and Latino teens known as the Central Park 5. New evidence exonerated him 13 years after his conviction. But he says cracks in the justice system remain the same.
There's 2 Americas, separate and unequal, where one is afforded every opportunity under the sun, and the other has to fight for their life.
In this instance, he's talking about the deadly shooting of Ahmaud Arbery, seen in this video. The 25-year-old's family says he was shot and killed by 2 white men while out jogging through a Brunswick neighborhood in February. The men say Ahmaud looked like a burglary suspect. So far, they have not been charged for his death.
I shudder to think about where this case is going, because they always stack the deck, and they make sure that it appears that the person who is victimized is seen as a suspect.
Protests demanding justice erupted in the streets of Brunswick Wednesday. Salam believes that is the kind of continuous pressure needed for criminal justice change to happen.
We have to continue to show up. We can't let someone instill fear on us that will erase the hope of tomorrow.
And the case is now on its 3rd prosecutor. The 2 others had to recuse themselves for a conflict of interest. One of the men who was involved in this was a former police officer in that county there. Aisha.
All right. Thank you, Natisha. So the new prosecutor wants a grand jury to actually hear the case, but any idea on when that could happen? Natisha Lance is going to continue to follow that part of the story for us tonight. So a grand jury is expected, but because of coronavirus, that won't happen until June 1st at the earliest. The outrage has poured onto social media. We just checked, more than 100,000 people have now signed an online petition demanding justice for Arbery. Democratic presidential hopeful Joe Biden called for a transparent investigation. He tweeted, quote, "Ahmaud Arbery was killed in cold blood. My heart goes out to his family." And Republican Senator Kelly Loeffler released this statement. She wrote, quote, "I anticipate a thorough and rigorous investigation will be conducted and that it will deliver much needed clarity and justice in this case." You can count on 11 Alive to stay on top of every development in the story. For the latest, go ahead and download the 11 Alive app. Just search for the As Seen on TV section.
It's what many people have been calling for: arrests in the shooting death of a jogger in a Brunswick neighborhood. We got these mug shots of Gregory and Travis McMichael within the past 15 minutes. Late this evening, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation announced charges against Gregory and Travis McMichael for killing Ahmaud Arbery. The charges: murder and aggravated assault. The arrest came just 2 days after this video showing Arbery's killing surfaced on social media.
It started an investigation by the GBI and an outcry from people, celebrities, and political figures across the nation. Now, here's what we know about this arrest. When GBI investigators arrived at the McMichaels' home around 8 o'clock, a neighbor tells me the shooter 34-year-old Travis McMichael was playing with his 2-year-old son in the backyard when he was put into handcuffs. His father, Gregory, a former Brunswick district attorney investigator, was taken into custody inside the house. One of the arresting officers was consoling Travis McMichael by patting him on the back. Travis was on the verge of tears while being led away. The McMichaels were taken into custody in less than 5 minutes. News4Jax reporter Maggie Lorenz joins us live in Brunswick, in the neighborhood where this all happened. Maggie, what are you seeing there tonight?
Tarek, we just drove through the neighborhood. It's dark, it's quiet, neighbors are inside, but this is the neighborhood, Satilla Shores, where Arbery was shot and killed in broad daylight back in February. Take a look at these photos. We got these sent to us from a News4Jax viewer at the scene of the arrest of Gregory and Travis McMichael. They were both charged with murder and aggravated assault and were booked into the Glenn County Jail. The GBI announced the arrest the day after it began its own investigation at the request of an outside prosecutor. The McMichaels, who pursued Arbery in a pickup truck, told police they believed Arbery was a burglar. In the last 15 minutes, we just got their mugshots again. Here's another look at them from the Glenn County Sheriff's Office. And then tonight, the Georgia Attorney General's office tweeted out this response. We are grateful the Georgia Bureau of Investigation has taken quick and decisive action. This tragedy cannot be undone, but this is the first step in what I am confident will be a swift road to justice. News4Jax will have a crew here ahead of tomorrow morning's press conference at 9 o'clock here in Brunswick. I'll have another live report coming up tonight at 11. For now, reporting live in Brunswick, I'm Maggie Lorenz, Channel 4, the local station.
I had the chance to speak with Ahmaud Arbery's football coach and two of his best friends tonight about the arrest right after it happened. These three guys just happened to be together, trying to figure out the next steps for demonstrations and social media campaigns. They told me they are joyful after waiting 74 days for these arrests to finally see these men taken into custody. But they say they won't really feel like justice is served until everyone involved is held accountable.
Until they stand trial and, be punished for what they're done, this tragedy, I think that'll give me the joy that I do need. The satisfaction is for our family, friends, and everybody in this community. I think this tragedy, it truly, not only sparked this community, but it sparked this world in a different way.
We're a community that trusts law enforcement. We had no idea the different things that were going on. I mean, our DA ran unopposed for 24 years. Nobody ran against her. We are a community that trusts law enforcement. And obviously what we're finding out now with the interim chief, Jay Wiggins, he's going to have to regain the trust of our community.
These three young men say they want everyone held accountable from top to bottom, including responding officers with the Glenn County Police Department. The officer who told Ahmaud Arbery's mother her son was shot in the yard while committing a burglary by the homeowner, which was a lie. All of those involved in the DA's office in Waycross and Ware County, those three young men say this was a cover-up.
Even after the arrest, the News4Jax team is asking the questions many people are asking us.
We found out why the Waycross State Attorney's Office recommended not prosecuting Gregory McMichael and Travis, and we also found out who shot the cell phone video and released it. Here's how investigators got to this point. After viewing the cell phone video, the autopsy reports, and witness statements from this deadly confrontation, Waycross District Attorney George Barnhill says he didn't see grounds for an arrest based on the following. In a letter to a Glenn County captain, he writes, Greg McMichael, his son Travis, and Brian Williams appear to be in hot pursuit of a burglary suspect with solid first-hand probable cause in their neighborhood and telling him to stop. He goes on to write, it appears their intent was to stop and hold this criminal suspect until law enforcement arrived. He said it was within the scope of a citizen's arrest, but a Brunswick criminal defense attorney says that is not his interpretation of the citizen's arrest law or the facts.
But what's critical about Georgia's law, although you are allowed to detain someone as a citizen if you think they've committed a crime, you cannot use excessive force. So even if there was a crime committed and he was trying to hold on to Mr. Arbery to wait for the police, you cannot then escalate it, as I think happened in this case.
We also now know who shot this cell phone video of the deadly confrontation. According to Arbery's attorney, Lee Merritt, a man named William Roddy Bryan filmed the shooting of Arbery. Lawyers say Brian told police he chased Arbery, who he and McMichael suspected was a burglar. Brian's attorneys leaked the video, hoping that it would substantiate the McMichaels' claim of self-defense. But instead, the video has created more questions about why no one was ever detained.
I don't think this is a good self-defense case for Mr. McMichael. I mean, number one, you see Arbery running down the street. He is not approaching the McMichaels. He's not threatening them. He doesn't present any sort of threat whatsoever. They are chasing him. And then at the point where Travis McMichael has the gun and is pointing it at Arbery, it is totally reasonable and justified for Mr. Arbery to try to defend himself. So I don't think that Travis McMichael can say I was acting in self-defense when it appears from the video that he was the aggressor in the situation.
The Glynn County Commission plans to release information soon on the Glynn County Police Department's involvement in the aftermath of the shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery and subsequent decisions made by police and county personnel. Yesterday, Brunswick Mayor, members of the NAACP, and local judges in the area called for the firing of the Glynn County Police Chief John Powell, who was the county's top cop at the time. News of the arrest tonight spread quickly on social media as well.
And Joy Purdy joins us now. Joy, you've been looking online to see what people are saying.
Yes, Mary Tarek, this story of the arrests has blown up on Twitter. It seems to be just traveling like wildfire. And so many people who have commented on the News for Jack's Facebook page are calling for not just an investigation into the father and son now charged in Ahmaud Arbery's death. They also want to see the original DA and prosecutor investigated for the way the case was initially handled. So here are just some of the comments we pulled from our Facebook page. Heather Hackley, for example, writes, "It took too long, and it's only because of all social media publicity that it has finally happened. But I pray his family will now get the justice they deserve." Keith Waugh writes, "Remember, innocent till proven guilty. I'm not judging till the truth comes out. And for everyone that does, y'all just as bad as those two for judging." And Rachel Arbery says, "Hoping justice will be served. This will never replace what this family is missing, but these men need to be held accountable." Now, as you know, there have been public comments on Twitter by lawmakers and celebrities like basketball star LeBron James, singer Justin Timberlake, also former Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Chuck Schumer from New York. Well, tonight, no comments yet from any of them. Tara, Mary?
Joy, thank you.
Well, despite tonight's arrest, the GBI says the investigation into the death of Ahmaud Arbery is ongoing, and they are asking anyone who has information to contact the agency at 1-800-597-TIPS. Again, they will be releasing new information about the case and the arrest tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. News4Jax will have crews in Southeast Georgia to bring you coverage live on air and on news4jax.com.
Right there, a lot of celebrities, people, the community activists, including people like Vice President Joe Biden, who's running for president, made the stance to say, "Hey, this is wrong." Even celebrities, even people coming out of the woodwork saying something. Where you saw different news outlets coverage detailing on how this black man was jogging around the neighborhood, minding his own business. He gets targeted by law enforcement, father and son. The father, who's been in law, has been a district attorney assistant or something like that. It's just what this world coming to with that. I'm lost for words. It's just like, especially with black men being targeted by just about any and everybody. We seen the history, the lineage to Emmett Till, to Trayvon Martin, to other people that's been, justice has not been served for them, and they mind their own business. We've seen that innocent black men, of those examples I had mentioned and stuff. All right, let's get to what you people had to say about this whole Ahmaud Arbery murder situation, where the arrest of George McMichael and his son Travis, and what does that mean for justice for Ahmaud in that realm? Take a look.
I want to bring in Marcus Arbery Sr. He is Ahmaud's father. And Ben Crump, an attorney for the Arbery family. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Marcus, I am so very, very sorry for your loss, sir. Tell us a little bit about about your son. Who was Ahmaud Arbery?
He just was a young, very well-respected young man. He just loved people, and he's the kind of young man that if he had $1 and you asked him for that $1, he would give it to you. His heart was just bigger than life. I tell you, he just loved people. He just was a good young man, and he just was outgoing with everybody. So he just loved the people. He just didn't deserve to go out like that.
Today, again, would have been his birthday. What did he like to do on his birthday? How would he have likely celebrated turning 26?
Hang around with friends and stuff like that there, all his friends, and try to put some meat on the grill, something like that there. He just wanted to be around all the friends because he was a people young man. So those are the things he'll try to do. He just try to keep everybody happy.
Marcus, how did your son want to spend his life?
Working out, training. He always loved to work out. He was just a workout fanatic. He picked that up from me because that's what I did all my life, keeping my body in shape and stuff like that. And he was the same way. He loved to just keep his body in shape.
How are you holding up, sir? I can't imagine losing a son. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty good. It's hurtful though, and I just got to be strong for the rest of my families. I got to be strong for my two children, and I just got to be strong for their mama too.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.
Good morning, Brian Ponder here. Just left the gym, one-on-one with a personal trainer, so no big gym. Brunswick, Georgia, Ahmaud Arbery, jogging, while melanated, killed, cold blood, no arrest. We know who killed him. You should be aware of the story by now. As you know, we wrote, when I say we, you, I, and others have written the police chief to arrest the suspects. No arrest has been made. I want to encourage you all, if you have not downloaded the letter, you can go to brianponder.com/Arbery, ARBERY, or just look at my timeline. You'll see the letter. I want you to go ahead and write the police chief. I'm going to implement about 9 other things that you can do. I will do a top 10. I will call it all 10. We need to do all 10 things. And I was having a conversation with others this weekend, and I was telling the person how you may have seen I posted a meme that I came up with. It's too late to protest when they kill you, your child or relative. And what I mean by that is, obviously, if you are the victim of a senseless vigilante crime, there's nothing you can do about it after you're a victim. If your child is the victim of a unjust vigilante crime, murder, unfortunately, when your child is gone, there's nothing you can do about it. When your close relative is a victim of a senseless vigilante crime, murder, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. So we all have busy lives, and, pandemic or not, time is flying. Some of you have lost your job. Some of you have a job. You're thankful for that. You have a family. You have kids. But I cannot emphasize enough the importance of recognizing the things you can and cannot change. You cannot change anything after it's happened to you and your family. But what you can do is take an active part and try to change the world around you, engineer change in your community. And you don't live in Glenn County, perhaps. If you do live in Glenn County, please, you more than anyone. But again, you don't wait till it comes to your county, to your city, to your block to take action. That's why we have the word called proactivity. You want to be proactive, not reactive. You don't want to react to something. You don't want to wait to react to something until it affects you. Okay? That's like waiting to have a heart attack to start eating right. That is no. Okay? So I'm here to coach you through this. And who am I? I'm no expert. I'm a concerned citizen like you that does not want to wait until someone is approaching me with a gun to take action and stop people from feeling like it's okay to do that. When there's no consequences, there's no change. So the law is meant for all. Not too long ago, it wasn't like that. But we're not there. We're in 2020, and we're going to have to make sure these laws are enforced. We have good laws on the books. The laws are great. The laws are great. Okay? But we have to get them enforced against all. So, first of all, pay attention. Write that letter to the chief. Post it. Share. Do whatever it takes. Don't give up, though, okay? And don't wait until it comes knocking at your door, okay? You don't lock your door after someone has broken into it, okay? We have to fix this proactively, and we have to do it together, all right? You don't need permission, okay? You don't have to wait and see what someone else is going to do. You don't have to see what this person's going to do. You don't have to say, hey, what do you think about this? No, do it, all right? Let's get this done. All right. There are other people that were hurt and killed. What about them? Let's look. This is transferable to anything and anyone. Okay. Take this letter. Demand change in your community. This is for everybody. But I'm focusing my efforts on this one person. And I've told others. I have some great friends. They're advocates for others. And what we're doing here, we're modeling change. That's what we're doing. I'm actually going to create a model. So when an unjust thing happens, first of all, law enforcement, prosecutors, they have a duty to do what they're supposed to do. When they don't do it, we have to force them to do it. Very unfortunate thing. Very strange thing. Can't be tolerated. Okay? So we're creating a model. But we have to do it. And each person that we do this for, we can do it for anyone. Okay? The model that works, we can do it for anyone. So stay tuned. Let's get this done. All right? Have a great day. All right? Remember, have a great day. Remember, you're still here. Be productive. Be safe. But be the change. Make the change in your community. Thank you.
Well, today would have been Ahmaud's 26th birthday. In an exclusive interview, I spoke with his former high school football coach and his best friend earlier tonight about the emotional celebration that went national. People all across the country running 2.23 miles to correlate with the day Ahmaud was killed. Coach Vine, I'll start with you tonight. You uploaded a very touching video to your Twitter just moments ago talking about the significance of this day.
The last time I seen you take a run.
Tell us about that and how you decided to connect with Ahmaud today.
I wanted to really connect with him at the last place that I seen him. And the last time I seen him, he was doing what he loved. He was just taking a run around my neighborhood, you know, as many people in our community do. We have a lot of runners in our community. And I thought that I could catch up with him. But as I seen him turn the corner, he was moving way too fast for this older man. And I realized the great strength and endurance that Ahmaud had. And so that's why I say, you know, I can't do this battle by myself unless I have Ahmaud type endurance.
Akeem, tell me about this day for you and what this means, especially your response to seeing the outpouring of support from the community.
Ahmaud was a beautiful person inside out, a phenomenal friend, and just the love that he's getting. I just wish he was still alive to receive it.
And tell me about the moment last night when you guys found out that the McMichaels had been charged more than 70 days after this incident took place?
It's actually 74 days. That's 73 nights where Ahmaud's family didn't get to sleep peacefully, knowing that the people that murdered their son were still in our community, in our shopping centers, inside the grocery store, just casually working outside on their truck. For 73 nights and 74 days, this family couldn't rest, knowing that justice that should have came swift was somehow delayed. So hearing that noise was a sigh of relief, but like we say, you know, it's a marathon. We know we got a long way to go.
What do you want people to personally know about the man you affectionately call your best friend, more than a hashtag?
He was a bright light, you know, to the world, in this world of darkness. He was a respectable person. He was somebody that valued true friendship. And when Ahmaud loved you as a friend, you became family. And he saw the best in those that he came across. That's what I want the world to know. He saw the best in everyone that he came across. And he placed value on everyone.
So it is good that there was public attention brought to this case by the media. That is a good thing, because it means that what appeared to be a bunch of people in the DA's office who were friends with the guy at issue, that those people are not the people who end up prosecuting the case. Right? That is a good thing. We want to make sure that law enforcement actually does its job. But it is also true that the media, in cases like this, immediately tend to jump to, this is a racial case first and foremost, that this is a case of race. This is undergirded by tweets from people like LeBron James. So LeBron James tweeted out, "We're literally hunted every day, every time we step foot outside the comfort of our homes. Can't even go for a damn jog, man. Like, what the F, man? Are you kidding me? No, man, for real. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, Ahmaud. Rest in paradise, and my prayers and blessings sent to thee." Okay, so this has 302,000 likes. Now, statistically speaking, it is not true that black people are hunted every time they step outside the comfort of their homes. There's a reason we know the names of people to whom this has happened. Right? It is just not statistically true that black people are hunted by white people all across the country. That was true for a long time in American history. Right? That was true during large swaths of Jim Crow when the KKK was basically a legal terror organization. That is not true today. It is just not true that white people are running around the country willy-nilly hunting down black people. It's not statistically true. At the same time, it is very important that law enforcement do its job specifically in order to fight perceptions like this. Now, that doesn't mean that you should make up cases against people, God forbid. We have due process of law in this country, but it looks bad when you have local law enforcement not taking seriously enough allegations that have tape to back them like this. Now, the legal issue in this case really is going to come down to, did they witness this guy commit a crime? If they witnessed this guy commit a crime and then they tried to stop him, okay, then it can very easily be argued that this is a terrible case in which Arbery was acting in his own self-defense. And once he grabs the gun, then the guy who shot him was also acting in mutual self-defense. But that really depends on whether the citizen's arrest was justified in the first place. If the citizen's arrest was just, we're suspicious of this guy running down the road because we think he looked like the guy from 2 days ago, and we're vigilantes and we're not going to call the cops. And if we do call the cops, we're not going to wait on them. We need to go stop this right now. Then you end up in the case of felony imprisonment / felony murder, right? Which is the case that David French is making. And the statute, again, in Georgia is fairly clear. The statute is fairly straightforward that you have to witness the immediate crime. But when the media immediately jumped to, we know for a fact that this was white guys chasing down a black guy because there was a black guy in a white neighborhood and they decided to go and shoot him that day. Again, the evidence doesn't support the idea that these guys were like out to gun down a black guy that day. It does support the idea, I think much more obviously, that these were overzealous wannabe cops and ex-cops who decided that they were going to be vigilantes that day. And then this thing went wrong and you are guilty for that, right? You're guilty for that. That is a thing that you are guilty for under the criminal laws of the state of Georgia, which is why this is going to go to grand jury and all the facts are going to come out. But to suggest on the basis of the case itself that black people are gunned down every day in the United States, that black people are at tremendous day-to-day risk from normal white people walking down the road, it's not true, which is why, again, this is getting all sorts of national attention. If this were true, that this were happening every single day, you know what the news doesn't report on? Stuff that happens every single day. The reason that this is an outlier case and is getting all sorts of attention is, number one, because we have tape, and number two, because it is a really bad fact pattern. It's a really bad situation. So I would urge everybody to wait for all the facts to come in. I'm glad that the video is out there and that we can all look at it. I've been a fan of dash cams on police officers for a long time and cameras on police officers for a very long time. It seems to me, based on this fact pattern, that it is completely correct for the prosecutor's office to put in a grand jury indictment? I do not know. Trey Gowdy said the same thing on Fox News yesterday. I do not understand why for 2 months there was no indictment put forward, no grand jury case. They will get a defense. They will have a chance to defend themselves in court. That's the way this is supposed to work. The real issue to me, beyond the actual fact pattern of the case, is why the prosecutors didn't go forward. And the implication is going to be they didn't go forward because it was white guy shooting a black man and they don't care. It seems to me that the much more likely scenario is this didn't go forward with an indictment in the first place because everybody was friends with the guy who did the shooting. Right? That basically it was an insider problem in which you had a former member of law enforcement who knew all the DAs. And they were like, would Billy Bob over here, would Jim have really gone out and just randomly shot somebody? Probably he was fine. Probably it was not a big deal. Which, again, is not the way that you pursue law enforcement. And it does undermine the credibility of law enforcement because, baseless or not, the widespread perception that black people are in widespread fashion targeted by white law enforcement in this country, that is undermined, that perception is underscored every time the law enforcement apparatus does not actually go forward with an indictment in cases where it appears an indictment seems to be warranted. So that's where we stand on this, and I'm glad that a grand jury case will go forward on this, and these people should have a chance to defend themselves because everybody should have a chance to defend themselves. It appears to me that David French's case is pretty strong, that this looks like a felony murder based on people being vigilantes and violation of the law. Facts don't care about your feelings, and it's a fact that The Ben Shapiro Show is the largest conservative podcast in the nation. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on all of our content.
Never a good idea to get political. Randomly in my recommended videos, I had a video come up from The Telegraph, which is a British newspaper, and it's titled, "Video appears to show unarmed black jogger shot dead by men who claim to be looking for a burglar." It's only a 45-second long video, and it's disgusting. Honestly, you have footage being filmed from a truck on a cell phone or on a camera phone, whatever, and it's going down a road in America in a little somewhere. It kind of takes a corner. The whole time this video is recording this black guy jogging. Up in front of him is a white pickup truck that has two men. After doing a little bit of research, you find out that this is a father and son. One has a shotgun, one has a pistol. Your man's jogging and he obviously goes around the truck. When he gets to the front of the truck, you can hear a lot of shouting. Now at this point, the video recording it kind of turns away, so you don't really get to see anything. You get to hear a lot of shouting. When he turns back, you've got your jogger and your old man with the shotgun wrestling with the gun, and then you see a shot. And then as the wrestling continues, there's another shot, and then finally your man in the back of the pickup truck also shoots your jogger. This man allegedly was robbing. That's the whole reason why they shot him. They say that they shot him because they recognize him as a robber who's going around and robbing the local area or something. So they shot him. It's all going through the justice system in America. It's now at the grand jury, and they are defending on self-defense, which is just mind-blowing. When you see the footage, it's just mind-blowing. The way, apparently, that self-defense works is in that state in America. They apparently are allowed to point their guns and shout stuff at him. When he lunged for the shotgun, that was then his aggressive act, which meant that the two could act in self-defense, which was resulting in shooting him. Apparently. I don't know how factual correct that is or anything, but, you know, it's just all apparently how it works. The call to the police was made before the incident took part. This audio, too, can be found online. And it's very interesting because it turns out that the two gun owners were father and son. The father was some ex-policeman. I think it might have been an ex-officer or something, whatever else. And the small clip that I heard, and there could be more to it, but the small clip that I heard of the telephone call to the police went something along the lines of the dispatcher asking what's happening and your man saying he's running. The dispatch saying, well, what has he done? And your man saying, well, he's been robbing. Have you witnessed any robs? No, he's running. What actually is happening? He's running. And then the clip that you watch just kind of ends. And then you see the video that you see. It's madness. There's so many questions around this, and it makes no sense whatsoever what's going on. Straight up American law is weird. Somebody can point a gun at you. That is not an aggressive act. If you try and defend yourself to that, you are then in trouble because your actions become an aggressive action, which then sees the gun holder able to shoot you in self-defense. That in itself is just messed up. If somebody points a gun at you, you should have all rights to defend yourself. Apparently, from what it reads, that's not the case. Secondly, I'm going to go there. There's a lot of questions over the head of, is this a race thing? Two white guys in a truck with a gun, black male, 25, out jogging, gets shot, goes through the justice system, and obviously due to the current situation with the corona and everything else, it's kind of dragging on. There have been people have to dismiss themselves from the case due to conflict of interest. It's crazy. The question is, if it was the other way around, if it was a white guy out jogging and he was shot in exactly the same manner, exactly the same way, if he was shot by two black guys, what the situation would be, who knows? Well, yeah. But one question that I've wondered that I haven't seen anybody ask is who's filming it? Because the way that it's filmed, it's very clear that he's filming, or whoever's filming is filming this jogger with a purpose. And it seems like whoever's filming it knows what's happening. It's not a dash cam footage, it's cell phone footage. And it seems very weird that you would record somebody jogging on your cell phone. It's messed up. It's really, really, really messed up. And I'm glad I'm not American. Because when you watch that video, when you see that video, and you read some of the comments on the various different clips, and people will be like, if you agree with this, you just might as well come out as being racist. And straight away, the first reply is, they shot him in self-defense. How? How can you stand there, point a gun at somebody, and that be okay? That person then try and take that gun off of you because their life feels threatened. That is not him acting in self-defense, apparently. That's him acting in an aggressive manner, which then means that I, as the original, I can shoot him. It makes no sense whatsoever. It's crazy, it's messed up, and it's scary. I would hate to live in some states of America. I can't even comprehend what it's like. I really can't. It's just mad.
All right, you saw right there what the people say on that. Like I said, we got a lot. We as people has a lot to do, and justice will be served. His mom appeared on CBS this morning to break her silence along. His dad broke his silence, and we hope that justice be out for Ahmaud, because Ahmaud didn't deserve that. He was walking like any average person. Now people living in fear these days, and then we have sort of like a pandemic going on. So a lot of people with a lot of anxieties, depression, and other stuff, mental faculties that we don't know. Well, we'll have to watch as all this plays out. I've been your host, Kendrick Dick, saying so long as we talked about who was Ahmaud Arbery. Justice has been served. Thank you all for watching.